All right, it's 7 a.m. We got a couple hours to do some driving here, so let's get out on the road and see where we're off to today. All right, we have arrived, and this is going to be a fun trip. We are visiting Nordegg, Alberta, and the site of the old Brazeau coal mine. This is a protected site, only available through guided tours, so they're opening up the gate for us now. Let's head on in and check this out. Now, I haven't been here in about 16 years. I'll throw some pictures in here of what I had from back in those days. The group we're joining is actually a family reunion sort of thing. We're the only ones on this tour who aren't a member of this family, but they're pretty nice. They've welcomed us in. We're going to have a good time checking out a lot of the sites here at the old mine and taking the tour. We're starting the tour in the old wash house slash shower house. The mine ran from 1914 up until the mid 50s. This building dates from 1948. This would have been where the miners started their shift and changed out of their civilian clothing into their mining clothes and gear. And then at the end of the day, they would have washed up in the showers here before heading home to their families down in the town. Speaking of the town, Nordegg actually had electrical power long before places like Calgary and Edmonton, thanks to this building here, which is the boiler building. They would use some of the coal that they mined to generate steam, which they then used to pump across this pipe here that no longer goes all the way across, but they would run that over to the powerhouse. The powerhouse, which we're just coming up onto here, would then actually use the steam to run the turbines to generate electricity. Now, a lot of the buildings here were destroyed in the 70s and into the 80s. In the mid 1970s, I believe it was 1975, the Alberta government converted the Nordegg town site the mine site into a low security prison, and they actually had the prisoners doing a lot of site cleanup, which involved demolishing a lot of buildings like this one here.
Yeah, that's I don't think so.
Approaching the entrance to the second of the mines here, I got a shot there in the corner of what it looked like in 2002 when I was here. They've also opened up the entrance to this mine about 16-20 feet inside, so that you can get an idea of what the mine tunnel looked like. Of course, it's well sealed off. You can't get in there any further than that, but it still is an interesting, bit of history there. Now coming up on mined entrance number 3, you can see from the shot in 2002 they've done a lot of work in building the path and putting this old mine car out in front of it here. And again, it's sealed off. You can't get inside, but are allowed to get into the entrance a little ways just to get an idea of what it was like. Many areas around the mine site are littered with artifacts that have been pulled out of the bush and things over the years and are lined up where you can inspect them and check them out. Now inside the Blacksmith Shop, you can see the old kilns and things here. Again, with a photo of this same area I took in 2002. This is not the original Blacksmith Shop. It was originally a wooden structure that burnt down. This one replaced it and was built a little more fireproof.
So, this side of the building, they do any kind of metalwork. They would do horseshoes, big bent pipes that were going to be working in the mine, or office jobs. So this is one of the places they work. The other places that they work would be in the warehouse, which is the next stop.
Now we're moving into the warehouse building. You can see here they have a whole bunch of cubby holes and storage compartments where they stored all their bits and pieces needed for keeping the mine equipment up and running. Apparently this building was really well preserved after the mine closed in 1955, but over the ensuing decades, vandals and collectors came through and took a lot of the stuff. But it's unfortunate, but it's a beautiful building. Lots of wood and intricate designs in here. Really great place. Oh, hey, little guy. Got a little visitor here checking out our tour. Now coming up on Martin Nordegg's original cabin. This dates from when he was in the area doing his original establishment of the mine and things around that 1911 era. You can see they have done preservation work in here to keep it from deteriorating, but there hasn't been any real efforts to restore it at all. It's preservation, not restoration.
Up and then out. That's when the kids were locking up.
And their tubs to keep it cool. Oh, yeah.
An example of the preservation work, or they have replaced some of the timbers here. They were exact replicas of the one, but you can see the different colors on the wall where new timbers have replaced the old ones. These are two miners' cabins. They weren't originally in this location, but they were moved here. One has been restored, and one has been just preserved in its original state, just to allow you to contrast what the two differences, or what those would look like compared to preservation versus restoration. So moving down towards the briquette plant, the coal that came out of the Nordegg mine really wasn't the highest quality. It was only really suitable for making into briquettes for use in steam engines. As the railways converted from steam power to diesel, the need for the coal declined, and that's why the mine closed in 1955. All right, well, that concludes the official portion of our tour. We're going to carry on, see what else we can find today, but in terms of the protected area of the mine, that's it for now. All right, we'll do a little drive down Main Street here. Compared to even last year, you can see how they've restored this bank building. It's kind of a shame you can't really look inside anymore. They've got everything covered up and secured, but it's really good to see that this building is preserved and will continue to exist for many years to come. And the artwork on it kind of gives you an idea of what it would have looked like back in its heyday. And of course, the old church. When we arrived here, actually, they were ringing the bell. They still use this church on Sundays for services, so that was kind of interesting to see that it's still getting use. A couple times it seems like it lost connection. And of course, this old service station is always a favorite of mine. So that's kind of it for the Nordegg town site. I'm going to leave you here with a little tour of the cemetery, but thanks for watching.